Hey work-at-home moms, have you been wondering how you can incorporate more self-care into your day while still managing your home and your kids and your business? Stay tuned because that's what we're going to dive into today. Hey there, amazing work-at-home moms. This is Laurel with the Mom Desk Club. Thanks for joining me here at my desk. I am so excited to jump into today's topic with you because I think that there's a lot that we can cover about how to incorporate more self-care into your day. So today is all about self-care as a work-at-home mom, nurturing yourself while you're nurturing your toddler. And I think that this is so powerful because and I've discussed this before, while I do take a little issue with the whole self-care movement, I do think that as work-at-home moms, it can be really easy to get stuck in this mindset of doing, and constantly producing that we aren't able to focus on just some basic human needs as humans, and we tend to make martyrs out of ourselves. Hello. I know I'm talking to myself, but I'm sure I've got to be talking to somebody else out there. So we tend to make martyrs of ourselves, and honestly, there's no point to that. So I think that today it'll be really fun to dive into this because especially when you're dealing with toddlers who require a lot of care, it can be helpful to remember that you are a human with some basic needs and that it's okay to carve out moments in your day to take care of yourself. You're not being selfish. Obviously, you're going to be thinking about other people a lot throughout your day, and it's okay to take a few minutes to carve out some time for yourself. So that's what we're going to jump into today. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to kind of cover a little bit is just finding me time. How do you find me time as a work-at-home mom when you are busy getting in plenty of hours in your day for your job, you're taking care of your children, and you're taking care of your home, especially when you've got toddlers who require a lot of you because they can't even get their own water out of the fridge half the time, or even if they are potty trained. I mean, I've got a potty trained child and he's not even 2. He can't even get his pants down yet. So there's a lot of effort that is involved in taking care of toddlers. How am I supposed to find time for myself? So the first tip, trick, whatever, is finding ways to carve out that time. You're gonna have to just take it for yourself. I'm not saying in like a selfish, I'm more important than everyone else kind of way at all. But I am saying that if you realize that as a work-at-home mom, your life is super busy, and if you aren't careful, you will work yourself to the bone and not actually allow yourself time to rest and relax, while simultaneously making a martyr out of yourself, being like, oh, I just have to do all this work and I never get any rest. And also, I think a lot of times, especially when you're like this, really busy, hardworking personality, it can be so easy to get caught up in this productivity mentality where it's like you're almost serving productivity as this other god in your life. And if you can't achieve and produce every second of every day, then you are not living up to your potential. It's not livable. It's not sustainable. So let's just set that straight right now. That is not what I'm preaching here. You are a human with needs, and you're going to need to take breaks. And so we're going to figure out how to carve out time for those breaks. It can be hard when you've got a really crazy schedule, but you're going to look for pockets. I just want you to look for personal pockets in your life where you can just insert a little bit of a nice moment. Okay, so it could be taking an extra step on your coffee and making your coffee really fun. There were seasons where that looked like buying a really fancy whipped cream from the store and squirting whipped cream all over my coffee first thing in the morning. It made it fun. It made it special. Hey, you could even put sprinkles on top if that really just gives a smile to your face, okay? Like, it takes an extra 2 seconds to do, but it can make something feel so much more special, and it makes you, it brings pleasure into your moment. So I've been reading this book. It's an organizational book, so it has nothing to do with me time, you wouldn't think, but it's by Dana White, and it's called Decluttering at the Speed of Life. It is a really fantastic book. I highly recommend it. I've really enjoyed her writing style. But one of the things that she talks about that I think you can also roll over into me time is when you're decluttering your home and you're reorganizing your spaces to make sense for the life that you're living right now, That's another really important tip. What life are you living right now? How can you reorganize your schedule for your me time right now? You want to start by cleaning up the spaces that you look at all the time. Decluttering the spaces that you're constantly using. Because when you do that, every time you look at it, you're going to get this jolt of energy and this positive affirmation for the hard work you did. You're going to see that clean hallway and you're going to be like, I did that. That looks so good. I am so proud of myself. Okay, I feel like finding those kinds of moments as a work-at-home mom is kind of the same thing. Find a little nook and cranny of a moment in your day. Find something that you can make you smile throughout the day. And that's going to be the things that kind of keep you fueled as a person and as a mom and as a work-at-home mom, is finding those little moments that just make you really enjoy life. One of the things that I've been doing lately, just a small pocket in my life, is in the morning, my kids wake up really early. They're generally all up by 5:30. It's insane. And they're like ready to go. They've had a full night's sleep. They're fine, but it's early. And so after I get them settled in with breakfast, and maybe I've tossed in a load of laundry, maybe I've washed some dishes, something like that, I will make myself a cup of coffee. We'll sit down on the couch, and of all the things, they really enjoy watching Gilligan's Island. So we'll turn on an episode or two of that. Sometimes I fall asleep because I'm still tired. Sometimes I am awake and I've had a really good night's sleep and I'm ready to go, and I'll sit down and I'll sew for a little bit. That is a pocket in time that we're able to create and utilize, and it's fun. We're all cuddling together. You know, it's winter, it's cold. We're able to cuddle and enjoy that time together. Sometimes I'm sewing, so I'm, investing in a hobby and something that brings me joy. Sometimes I'm taking a nap. That also brings me a lot of joy. But that's like a little pocket in my day where I'm able to squeeze something, and it ends up really working well because it's still dark outside and it's kind of cold, and it works out good. But that would be one example of finding a pocket in your day where you can enjoy some me time. This would be another example. My kids are asleep right now. Well, most of them. There's one that's awake, but she's pretty quiet. So I take this time when my children are sleeping to film my videos, because it does not bring me pleasure to film my videos when all of them are awake and they're all yelling at me and they're all needing help and somebody needs something and this other one needs a snack, and that does not bring pleasure. But it does infuse some fun into my day when I can take a moment, set all my stuff up, get my thoughts in order, and have a conversation with some other like-minded moms that are going through the same trenches that I am. Okay, so those are a few examples of how you can add moments of pleasure in your day that help fuel you as a person, help rejuvenate you, help bring some energy into your day. And sure, it's not going to be the same thing as what I feel like a lot of people get caught up in, and self-care is, going in. I feel like when you say self-care, a lot of people want to go to massages or getting quiet alone time. Yeah, quiet alone time is good, but sometimes you have to do some of these things even with your people around. And that's okay. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you can do it while they're sleeping. Other pockets of alone time that I've really been protecting lately has been after my kids go to bed. As soon as they go to bed, I kind of do a whole kitchen shutdown and I clean everything up and I get my kitchen all cleaned up and ready to go. And then I pull out all my snacks and all my drinks, and it looks ridiculous. It's like I've got a buffet sitting next to me. And I will sit down and I will work on my sewing projects or my hobbies, or maybe I'll pull out my laptop and work on a blog because it's quiet and I really enjoy doing that. And I will watch TV for a little bit. So a lot of times lately it's Downton Abbey. But I'll turn on a show that I've been really enjoying, generally something that I have seen 5 times through. So I already know the plot. It's not like I'm sitting there on the edge of my seat waiting for the next episode. I already know what's going to happen next. But that's how I can kind of protect that time. And I generally don't protect that time nearly as much in the summer as I do in the winter. So I like to really take advantage of cold, early winter nights where I can just sit down and enjoy some of my favorite foods, have some quiet time, stay up way later than I'm supposed to, and then regret it the next morning. So I hope that you're able to take a look at your schedule and figure out where you can infuse these pockets of personal time so that you are fueling yourself for this amazing life that you're living, and find energy to continue on and not allow yourself to get bogged down by the mundaneness of it. Another thing that I thought really fit into this particular topic, I had read a book a while ago called The Miracle Morning. Very popular, lots of people know about it. But it was a really interesting book because he was talking about how it's very important to start your day off with these big wins that just make you feel productive, make you feel like a human, nourish your mind and your body. And I really appreciated what he had to say. Now, I'm not saying that I have incorporated this into my life very well. Generally, by the time I wake up, everybody else is awake and things are going crazy, and mornings are just not my favorite. Things will change over the years. Seasons will adapt. I might change my stance on this, but I think the position that he takes is really interesting, even just for the fact that he's checking off the list on a few things so that he feels human. So he's starting off his day like, hey, I've had some wins, I've had some productivity, I'm doing these things. Accomplishing these things, even if it's not first thing in the morning, can still also make you feel the same way. So I was going to go through those steps just really quickly so that you can kind of see what I think it's Hal Elrod, what he says you should do first thing in the morning. So the first thing he says is to focus on some silence. So that would be like meditation, it could be prayer time, it could be quiet time, allowing your mind to have a few minutes to just collect itself, to be quiet, to let thoughts pass through, not to get stuck on anything, not to get stuck on your to-do lists or to stress or be anxious about things, but just to have some quick, quiet time to allow your mind to rest. The second thing would be affirmations. Now, I feel like all of these are adaptable depending on your worldview, what's important to you, how you want to structure your day. Affirmations could be prayer time. It could be working on memory verses. If you are a Christian, maybe affirmations are just going to be cards with these positive messages that you're going to read through. Either way, it's a really interesting way to start, or at some point scatter throughout your day, because you're taking a moment to speak positively, speak life into your life, and I think that is so powerful as a work-at-home mom. Next step is visualizations. So I don't generally do visualizations, but it could involve something like maybe visualizing how you want your day to go, thinking about your to-do list, thinking about breakfast, thinking about things that you're going to accomplish throughout your day, maybe thinking about some big goals that you have coming up or dreams that you're working on. Either way, I feel like these are really adaptable depending on your own personal preferences on how you do things. So take a few minutes to just think about how that would look for you, to just take some time to dream and to imagine and to think creatively for just a few minutes, whether at the start of your day, at the end of your day, or somewhere in the middle of your day. His next step is exercise, which is something so easy to forget about as a work-at-home mom. And so maybe something that we can cover over the next several weeks or so would be maybe like really quick exercises that you could do at your desk, or 10 minutes worth of exercise that you could do just to kind of get your heart pumping and get going. You know, other ways you could exercise lately, as the days have been really nice around here, we've been going for walks, or it could be taking 10 minutes to just stretch. There's a lot of different ways you can incorporate exercise into your life. I think the goal is to make sure you're incorporating it so that you don't forget about it, because otherwise you could forget. I can say that because I'm totally in that space right now. I really don't want to exercise, and I would have to really force myself to do it, even if it was just for 10 minutes. The next thing he says is reading. So you're taking a few moments to take in some new information, some new content, some new ideas. This could be nonfiction books. I would say it's probably nonfiction books, but I'm more prone to nonfiction books. So, just keep that in mind. I really enjoy nonfiction books. And so I really enjoy taking a few moments out of my day, whether it's first thing in the morning or at some point throughout the day, to read or listen. I listen to a lot of books. I don't sit down and read often because, as my daughter will say, "Mom, don't sit down, you'll fall asleep." She's not wrong. I am in a phase of life where if I sit down, generally I'm going to fall asleep at some point. So I don't generally read physical books right now. I can't seem to make it through them. But if I listen to them, it works great. So I use a lot of tools like Hoopla and Libby to listen, and Audible. I use a lot of Audible too, to listen to audiobooks that I really enjoy. It's a great way to fuel your human mind and allow yourself to get some new information in. I relied heavily, especially in the younger years, on audiobooks and podcasts, especially in winter when everything's kind of dark and it's cold and you're just kind of, I don't know, it's sad, seasonal affective disorder. Maybe that's what it is. But there's something about in the winter when you get stuck and your brain is just like in this really tired, negative space. Sometimes it can really help to just put in a podcast, find somebody who's speaking life, and let them speak life into you. Same thing goes for books, though. Find people who are speaking life and let that life seep into you, because sometimes you just get stuck in a phase where you really need it. So the last thing in these steps is called scribing. This makes the acronym of SAVERS. Scribing would be just sitting down and writing for a little bit. I I'm not a journaler. It's never been something that I have practiced daily in my life or something that I have enjoyed practicing daily in my life. I've tried, I can't seem to get into it. But there are a few ways that you could maybe incorporate this into your life, whether that be keeping a quick journal on your notes, maybe it's writing something quickly down on your computer when you first log in. Send yourself a quick email. Wouldn't that be funny, having a whole folder of journal entry emails that you've sent to yourself? If journaling is not your thing, one of the things I found that has been really fun is this 1 line a day. I won't say I've stuck with it. I found it on Amazon, but it has the date up at the top, and then it's got a list of 20s down here on the bottom. So then you would just fill in the last part of the year, and then you could write just a quick note about something that happened that day, something that happened the day before, whenever you do your journaling. And I think this is just a really fun way to kind of mark your days, look at funny stories, especially if you do become really diligent and you keep up with it. It could be really fun as you fill in every day and then get to see notes from things that had happened several years prior. I think that's really cool. So maybe the miracle morning is something that you could incorporate into your morning or incorporate later into your day, but I think it's a really special way to incorporate some self-care into your life, because you are at least, I don't want to say checking off the boxes per se, but you are kind of making sure that you're hitting those high points in a day. You're covering your mental, your spiritual, your physical body, and you're kind of covering all of these big points so that you don't feel depleted by the end of the day. You don't feel like, oh my gosh, I didn't even exercise, and I really have been wanting to read my book, but I didn't even get a chance to read my book, and I wanted to take time to do this and this. You got it covered. Sit down and do those quick basic things. Make sure that you're covering a couple basics for your spiritual and your mental spaces, and then it kind of helps roll into the rest of the day and helps you feel productive in a way that you didn't feel if you hadn't been able to accomplish those things. And finally, the one last thing that I think is really helpful as work-at-home moms to incorporate more self-care into your life is connecting with other moms. So I think that this can go really unnoticed, especially as a work-at-home mom, because we tend to get so focused, at least I do, tend to get so focused on the to-do list and getting things accomplished and thinking, oh, I can't go anywhere, I can't do anything. And of course that could be because I also live a little bit outside of town. So going into town to go do something feels like a whole event. It feels like a whole day. But it has been so helpful, I've realized, over the last 4 or 5 months, finding ways to get out and connect with other moms. It doesn't have to be work-at-home moms by any means, but other friends, other women, other people who you can speak life into, people that you can socialize with, people that can help fill up a social tank per se, and you can do the same for them, where you can all connect and pour into each other. That is so helpful. Community is such a big deal, and that is kind of a huge part of the reason that I started even wanting to do the Mom Desk Club, as a way to bring a bunch of women together who understand some of the challenges and tricks of being a work-at-home mom and how hard it can be and all the different things that you're balancing. Finding a way where we can connect and create community and find friendships, long-lasting friendships with other people who know kind of what we're going through, even if we're all in different places in life. So I am so thankful that I get to sit down and chat with you guys a couple times a week and discuss things that are very pertinent to being a work-at-home mom. And I hope that I'm able to encourage you in being a work-at-home mom and finding ways to thrive in this amazing space that you've been given, because it's a really cool and unique time that you get to do this, even if it's hard. It's a lot hard, and it's still valuable, and it's still important. So I'm really looking forward to chatting with you next time as we dig into building community connections as a work-at-home mom, even with a bunch of toddlers in tow. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'll see you then.